Hi, I'm Faith McCann, and I've been a witch for over 40 years. And no, we are not evil. Learn more about the magical world and how the magical world affects your world right here on The Magical Alternative. And you don't have to be a witch to watch. And welcome to The Magical Alternative. I'm Faith McCann and my host, Miss Laurel.
Hello, how is everybody today?
Welcome. And happy April. Hello, November Sound. How are you guys doing?
Yay.
Great. Well, tonight, things have been turned upside down in our world, in our country lately. Did you know that in California, there is a market that is selling out strawberries, but strawberries that are packaged as single strawberries for $19 an individual strawberry?
Wait, what?
I'm not kidding you. They come from Kyoto, Japan. They're in a little plastic container. They're just a simple strawberry that you would think they'd have pearls in them,
Or,
covered with gold.
you're right?
No. But one strawberry, $19. But I heard that if you can't afford that, you can go into the next aisle and have a photo taken with a live egg, a real egg, for $5. I told you, I'm terrible at jokes. But she likes my jokes.
That's funny.
And I do want to say something tonight about the airline industry. It's been getting a bad rap lately, and I know so many of my friends and family fly all the time. Did you know statistically that 37 million flights happen around our world every single year? Do you know how many major incidents are averaged every single year
No, I
with
don't.
flights?
No, I don't.
One. And that's not like a crash. That's a major incident.
Right.
It could be anything. One on average, so that's a lot of years, nothing.
Right.
So with car accidents alone in the United States, there are 6 million accidents.
Yeah.
So personally, this is not a joke. Thank you to everyone who works in the airline industry, from aerospace, aeronautical engineers, to those who work in the factories putting the planes together, to those who work in the airports, to air traffic controllers. We appreciate you.
Yes.
So don't give them a hard time. Go.
I won't when I go.
When you
I'm going this weekend.
go, be kind. If it's busy, just be patient and just appreciate all the work that goes into all of those highly skilled jobs. So tonight, our guests are going to be some of the most famous historical men or women from our world's ancient history, the witches. Who were they?
Ooh.
What did they do? And we're going to tell you all about them tonight. And we have Miss Laurel, and she's going to be doing Welcome to Spring. So stay right with us, and we'll be right back. Hi, I'm Faith McCann, the host of The Magical Alternative. I really hope you've been enjoying our show. Have you checked out the other interesting, entertaining, and informative shows here at Community Voice Channel? Local government, religion, and entertainment right here in your home or on your personal digital device. Well, public access television is in danger of being canceled. I know, that's right. Government funding is being cut, and we want to continue giving you the shows that you enjoy. You can show your support by scanning this QR code with your smartphone and make any size donation. All donations go to keep your favorite shows coming to you every month. We thank you for your support. Well, welcome back. And tonight we're going to be talking about ancient witches. So the very first witch written about in history that anyone has anything actually written down about is the woman of Endor.
Right.
Now, this is in the first book of Samuel, and it is a story of King Saul of Israel, who wished desperately to know the status of his men fighting in the battle with the Philistines. So he asked his servants to find him a sorceress who could do so, or a medium in this case, who could help him.
And for those who don't know, a medium is a person who can talk to those who have passed on.
Well, the servants came back to the king and told him about a woman in a neighboring town, the town of Endor. He sought out the woman of Endor, whom we would call a medium today.
Right.
And he asked her specifically to summon the spirit of the prophet of Samuel. The problem is, though, King Saul himself had banished all, quote, those who have familiar spirits and wizards out of the land. And as typical, he got rid of all the magical people, and now he needed their help.
Of course. That's how it goes.
Before Saul, it was a common industry for people to seek out magical wise ones in their village for various help and different issues that they might have need of. So when he asked around, he heard of this woman, the woman of Endor, and he disguised himself, and he went and found her. He knocked on her door. She answered, and he asked her to consult a spirit for him. But being magical, she saw him for who he really was. So she said, "No, you're trying to trick me. You know that I am banned to do magic, and I will surely be put to death." But King Saul threw off his disguise and said, "No, it is I, the king. I promise you I will not harm you, but I need to know what will become of my army in the battle to come." So what she did is she created an obe.
An obe.
Now, an obe looks like this. An obe is a very specially constructed hole in the ground, and it is constructed with ritual and magic, and it's created to contain the spirit of the one summoned. And a loud, anguished wail filled the room. "Why have you summoned me?" Well, the spirit of the great prophet Samuel was the one who cried out. And the woman looked at the king, and she was just like, "Okay, you can ask him. He's here.
There you go.
You're on your own." And he asked, "What shall be my fate and the fate of my army in the battle with the Philistines?" The spirit wailed and told Saul that he and his 3 sons would die in battle the next day.
So, I have.
And they did.
Yeah, I have a question. When was the first record of magic and/or witchcraft written down being banned?
Banned?
Yes.
Well, that was Numbers 23:23. But in Numbers 23:23, which is quite a bit of time before this story of the first book of Samuel with King Saul, they had written down, and the wording is really important. It was written, "There is no magic, charm, nor witchcraft that can be used against the nation of Israel. Now people will say about Israel, 'Look what God has done.'" And that has been interpreted that, oh, okay, magic, witchcraft, that's awful. God doesn't like it. It's against the law, so you can't do that. Well, today, we look at things a little bit different. We think of magic as a tangible prayer. And this is familiar to many people. You don't have to be Wiccan or witch or a magical person per se. Many people are familiar with lighting a candle. We may put a picture of a loved one there. We consecrate our love, our will for a positive outcome. We send out love if someone's sick, say. We ask our angels, our higher power, whatever you call it, for help. We look carefully around us for manifestation. And we take responsibility for the world we create and try to make it better.
Right.
I personally believe that what we see as magical manifestation is simply God's will being manifest through us. And an example, I was thinking about this for the show. Imagine a heart surgeon or a brain surgeon, or maybe an OBGYN, helping a woman give birth. They give life, these doctors. They prevent death with their skilled hands. I personally see divinity in that work.
Yeah.
And to me, that's magical. just because one doesn't understand doesn't make it evil. Now, I think evil is when someone, magical or not, tries to harm somebody else.
Yes.
Deliberately tries
Yep.
to harm someone and has no remorse, doesn't
No.
care at all. They just go about harming
Right.
willy-nilly. So when one is trying to help to make the world a better place, I think that's, our attempt at trying to be, divine, or
Right.
trying to understand that.
Right.
So,
Yep.
but what about some evil
So
witches in the past,
right,
as they've been
so-
labeled? Tell us about that, Ms. Lauren.
Yeah, a lot of people have been discussing these days Lilith.
Lilith. Oh, Lilith.
And she was found in ancient Jewish Mesopotamian mythology. A demon-like figure at times depicted as a powerful sorceress.
Yes.
And wasn't she supposed to be the mother of Eve or something like that?
No. Lilith was reputed to be Adam's first wife, and they didn't get along very well. You know,
That's
that
right.
whole, early Garden of Eden dating
Yeah.
app. They don't
Yeah.
always pick the right one.
No, they
she was
switched right when they should have switched left.
Switched right, switched left. So Lilith went off on her way, and Eve, I guess, was found for Adam, or made out of Adam. But I think it was kind of cool back in the 20th century, 20 some odd years, 25 years ago now, when they brought out the Lilith Fair. Which was a music festival of divine feminine empowerment, and I had the wonderful luck to go several times to Lilith Fair, and it was amazing. And so no disrespect intended to any patriarchal religion, to any of them, but when in your ancient theology a woman figure is portrayed as a demon, an evil temptress, or worse, the originator of original sin.
Yeah.
It's important to remember that women were not considered equal in patriarchal societies way back then.
Yeah, they were considered lower than an animal.
A lot of times. Now, in matriarchal societies, they were more equal, but in patriarchal, they weren't. Back before a lot of this, for instance, in ancient Egyptian mythology, we had Hathor. She was a goddess, often associated with magic, healing, and was seen as a powerful female with magical abilities. A lot of these ancient goddesses today would be referenced as witches.
In ancient Greek mythology, you've got Circe, was a powerful sorceress who could transform men into animals. And I wish I could do that now. So bad.
I think
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Well, we had the Pythia, who is the Oracle of Delphi. Now, a lot of people make the mistake of thinking the Pythia was one woman, and she wasn't. She was one of several, if not hundreds, over the course of 1,200 years, from the 8th century BCE to the 4th century CE. And she was chosen from baby girl children who were birthed and given to the priestesses at the temple of Apollo. And when young as 8 or 9, one would be chosen, kept isolated, and when working would be placed in a chamber after consuming mind-altering herbs. The chamber was located on a fault line that they just discovered in the last 50 years, and that fault line had natural gases coming out of it. So between the
Psychedelics.
the herbs,
The
and then
herbs,
the natural gases, she was able to speak in tongues, go figure. There was a long tube fashioned in the rock so people could line up, and at the end they would ask questions through the long speaking tube, and then she would speak in tongues, and then the Pythia, after she answered, the priests of the temple would translate for them. I don't know, sounds kind of scammy, but after 1,200 years, that's a long time for something to work. So
Right.
people seem to find that she was very accurate. And it says that, history says that she actually was very accurate, the different Pythias that served. But unfortunately, because of the drugs that she consumed, probably the natural gases, her isolation. There's really no records of these women lasting more than a few years in the job before they died at young ages. So,
And then we come, the burning times. We had the burning times. But this is a holdover from the ancient Romans who would burn Christians, martyrs, and other enemies of the state in the Roman Colosseum for entertainment. And then, not only that, with the gladiators and the...
oh yeah.
Yeah. And the first woman burned at the stake for witchcraft was in 1275, and this was in France. And the first major witch hunt was in Switzerland, Valais. The trial started in 1428 to 1447. At least 367 people perished, and the actual toll may be higher. Just as many men as women were killed during this time. And then, we go on to the more modern burning times.
Well, Agnes Waterhouse was born in 1503 in England. And she was known as Mother Waterhouse. She was one of the first women executed for witchcraft in England in 1566. She, along with two other women, were accused of witchcraft, Elizabeth Frances and Joan Waterhouse. Now, Joan Waterhouse, same name, that was her daughter. The thing is, Joan was able to survive because after she was accused, and it was interesting, they were accused of the same crimes, to cause illness, sicken and kill livestock, killing their husbands. But Joan went in and jumped on the table and accused her mother of being a witch. So her mother was put to death, and Joan was able to survive. It seems like a mean thing to do to your mom, but we don't
Survival of the fittest.
Apparently so. I have noticed after decades of studying the witch trials, both in Europe and here in colonial America, most witch trials were undertaken during the summer. And the accusations seemed to occur in the spring after a long, hard winter. People got sick, died. We didn't have medications. We didn't have modern medicine, vaccines. Cattle also got sick and died.
Especially if it was a bad winter, very moist, very wet. When they would grow, they mold and all kinds of different things on the wheat or the rye or whatever they were growing, and they would eat it. And
well, you had the ergo poisoning. That's believed to have affected those in Salem.
Right.
And in the spring, warming weather, the food spoiled more quickly.
Exactly.
They were used to keeping them refrigerated with the ice and the snow in the winter.
Yep.
And more personally, humans have an innate need to blame their hardships on others. It could just be bad luck. It could be, a situation that is out of your control, but it seems even today that some people have this need to blame others for their problems rather than just accepting that just might be the way life is. So, but what's interesting, we have right here, the Malleus Maleficarum. This really set off the witch trials in Europe, written in 1486. Now, if we remember, the first woman put to death was 1275 in France, burned at the stake. And then the first major witch hunt was in 428 to 447. Right after that, we had a German Catholic clergyman, Heinrich Kramer, wrote the Malleus Maleficarum. And this is called the witch's hammer. And The Witch's Hammer is a horrific book. I only have it for historical research. This is the actual unabridged copy, and you can get a copy too. They're out there. This was used by witch hunters to hunt down, arrest, torture, and execute people that they felt fit their target audience. Those were homeless people. Those were people who were immigrants to their land. Those were people who were single mothers.
And people that were outspoken against the church or...
Specifically women who were outspoken against the church.
Yep.
Then men came in, especially in colonial America. We have more records of those men that stood up for their wives, men that came out and said, this is crazy. What are you doing? This is ridiculous. There's no evidence. Just because somebody dreamed that their neighbor, caused their cow to get sick, that's not enough evidence to put somebody to death. They would be in turn arrested because, well, you're defending someone, so you must be guilty.
Exactly.
The problem is in this entire book, there is no information or what to do if somebody says, yes, I'm a witch. Okay, I confess I'm a witch. Now what do I do? When that happened, inevitably the person, at least in this country, would be just put in the dungeon, and they were left alone, and they ended up surviving. In Europe, sadly, that wasn't the case, and in some villages, especially in Germany and some other European villages, when the witch hunters left, there was nobody left alive, including barnyard animals, domestic cats and dogs. Everyone was executed when the witch hunters left.
Right. In Germany, I was just doing some research on it, and they said, it said that between 35 to 40,000 people were executed during the burning times in
Germany alone.
In Germany alone, or German descended people.
And there is a belief that anywhere from 70,000 to 7 million people were put to death during the burning times, except they didn't keep records in Europe. People would just be executed, and that was it. And there was no need to write anything down. The people were gone and forgotten about, which is really, really tragic. So we have a guesstimate, but we don't have any actual idea.
Yeah.
Another book written at the time, interesting, they're all written by men. You might have heard of Sir Walter Scott, known for a lot of different books, but he wrote Demonology and Witchcraft in 1830. Sir Walter Scott lived from 1771 to 1832, and this book came out right before he passed away. And this, again, is how to recognize. I find it fascinating that those that were completely innocent and had absolutely nothing to do with all of this, so-called evil stuff, knew so much about it that they could write books to tell people how to hunt people down.
Right.
They were experts on it.
Yeah.
Yet they didn't practice it. They didn't have any of this in their life.
Right.
They were super good and not evil and bad. It's just very suspicious as far as I'm concerned. So, well, going on, Miss Laurel just handed to me, actually not too long ago. It's kind of concerning, but there was a situation in South Carolina, and I'm not going to get too specific, but if you want to read more about it, there is a lovely online paper called The Wild Hunt that those of us in the magical world are familiar with, and we love The Wild Hunt. They've got some really great reporters and journalists there that do a very serious job at tracking down information. Well, The Wild Hunt has reported that in February, the end of February of this year, there had been a local craft fair in South Carolina. And they had a lot of people there selling all kinds of things at this local market event. And one vendor who was reportedly Wiccan and selling witchcraft materials and tools, like these. This is considered, at one time very vital in any household in colonial America. A mortar and pestle is now considered a witchcraft tool. So you might have some in your house. Well, this, let me see here, make sure I get it correctly. It is a Christian church, a Christian fellowship. And they went there and started harassing the vendor and other members that started to stand up in support for the people at this booth. And they started screaming at them Exodus 22:18 as justification. Well, Exodus 22:18, I'm going to say something about that in a minute, is the infamous and likely mistranslated verse, "Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live." Actually, if you put aside the Christian translated Bible and actually go back to the Torah, which is the original written work, it is not Exodus 22:18, but Exodus 22:17, which says, "Do not tolerate a sorceress." I look at that as don't invite her over to lunch.
Right.
I mean, doesn't mean you have to kill. It doesn't say anything about killing her, but don't tolerate a sorceress.
And that's one thing I don't understand. Aren't they supposed to follow the 10 Commandments? And isn't one of them "Thou shalt not kill"?
Well, yeah. I just think the individuals here, and there is a gentleman that has a podcast that is basically building this up to target pagan communities. And he is basically pushing harassment and I'm not going to give his name or his podcast any coverage, but I want to talk about a couple of points that he makes. He mentions Deuteronomy 18:9-12, which warns against practices like divination, sorcery, and necromancy. He also came out and admitted that he did protest outside the venue, later entering the facility, harassing the individuals, screaming at them, telling them that they're going to hell. And he is trying to whip up pastors with his sermons, podcasts, and videos to chase the wolves out. A phrase that he argues refers to witches, LGBTQIA plus individuals, and abortion rights supporters. I personally think we're in a good group of people there. Mm-hmm. He calls us evil. And he says he doesn't promote violence, but he supports the enforcement of what he calls God's law. I think that's all fine and good. You can believe what you want, but I mean, I just, my argument all the time. It's like if you want to, pick a book, because if you want to go to the Old Testament with the Torah, then I'm going to talk about Exodus 23:19, 34:26, and Deuteronomy 14:21. Do not boil a calf in its mother's milk. So if you really want to, say, "Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live," okay, well, don't be eating a cheeseburger.
Right.
Because those that follow this as devoutly as that, where you want to eliminate us, they don't eat meat and dairy. I think there's 2 hours in between. We have Leviticus 19:19, Deuteronomy 22:11, which prohibits the wearing of 2 different types of material. We can't pick and choose and say, well, this works for me, so I hate you because of the way you live, and I'm such a good person. So it's my spaghetti
pick a
argument.
Book.
It's my
pick a lane.
It's my spaghetti argument.
Yeah.
You can't go into a restaurant. And now let me ask you this. If you go into a restaurant and you see somebody you've never met before in your life, you'll never see them again, they're eating steak and potatoes, and you walk up to them and you're like, "No, I'm sorry, call the chef out here. Take that steak and potatoes away. You can't have those. You have to eat spaghetti and meatballs." And they're like, "I don't know you. Who are you?" would that not be considered a little bit crazy?
Yeah.
I mean, like to the point of like, all right, I maybe need to get security because that's a little off the rails.
Yep.
Yet people feel perfectly comfortable telling people how to live their lives.
How to live their lives.
We're not evil.
No.
We wish only love and wonderful things for people.
And we have one rule, and it harm none.
And it harm none. And I do think it's very interesting that he finished up saying this. This is the man that is organizing these hate rallies against witches. Voodoo, witchcraft, hexes, and curses have no power over us because they come from Satan, and Satan is no match for the Lord. Well, they don't come from Satan because we don't believe in a Satan, but if they have no power over you,
why are you bothering with it?
why are you so scared?
Exactly. What's going on?
So I think that the individual who was harassed, they wrote a response, and I'll only read the bottom because I think I know this woman. I don't know for sure because they don't give her name, but they give the name of her business. But she said, we just want to thank everyone for the support we've received through this. We've been asked if we need anything. No, but we do need everyone's love, support, and shining faces at our events. Let's prevail through this. Let's continue to grow in this community and honor what we stand for as well as those we stand for. Blessed be, friends.
Absolutely.
And this whole response from them is just, we don't mean anything harm to anyone. We don't even think there is a witch hunt, regardless of that other side trying to whip this up. They don't want to put any power or energy into that.
Yeah.
So, no.
I think that's a good idea.
I love it. I loved her response. I love the fact that they responded in such a kind way.
Right.
And we need a little bit more love in the world.
Absolutely.
And you're not going to find us doing anything harmful or evil. That's not what we're about.
No.
But please, if you have any questions, if you don't get what we do, you don't have to. But if you have any questions, please ask. I don't know any of us that won't sit down and try to explain to you
What we do, who we are, what we represent.
how we believe. If you think we're in league with the devil, we'll sit down and talk to you how that's not a construct in our world. If you want to believe in a devil, that's awesome. You do you. But to hate us and try to harm us because of a misunderstanding or what somebody has led you to believe through legend, lore, fiction, rumors, and lies, you're being played.
Yeah.
It's just not true.
Right.
So I'm not going to assume anything about you because I don't know you, and we would just ask the same. So.
Yep.
Anyway, any questions, please send them to the magical alt 1818 at Gmail. Oh, not the magical alt. You corrected me last time.
Yes.
Magical alt 1818 at gmail.com. We're going to put that right here. And we will also put our QR code
Yep.
right here, right there.
Right there.
So you can donate if you'd like to keep your local public access TV station going and funded. We appreciate it.
Yep.
And welcome back. We have a special surprise for you. Miss Laurel is going to do a welcome to spring segment because spring is right around the corner. So Miss Laurel, take it away. All right.
Hi, everybody. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to start some seeds. We're going to start planting some seeds of rosemary that we'll transplant later on in the season, and then we will put outside. They make it really easy these days. Any garden shop, big box store, you can get these little kits. It's a germination kit that comes. It comes with the little pods that you're gonna, eventually cover. And then you get your seeds, which I have rosemary, which these are gonna be, it's a container variety, which will be nice that I'm gonna put them in containers around the deck and stuff, so that'll look nice in the summer. So what you're going to do, they have, it's really simple. You can get anything like this. It's a seed starting mix, which is really good. It's got all your nutrients and everything that you needed to start germinating your seeds.
Oh, yes.
So what we're going to do is you take it and you're going to take your dirt and you're going to fill up your dirt.
Dry?
Yep, you're going to start it dry.
Okay.
And you fill up, I'm just going to do a little bit right now, and then later on I'll, finish doing it. But what you're going to do it, you're going to get your and you're going to want to pat it down a little bit. It needs to be a little firm. Not too firm, though, because you want to be able to have the roots grow through it. So you get it, and you want to fill it up to about there, not too full.
I'll hold it up so they can see.
So you're going to fill it up there, and then you're going to take your seeds, and what you want to do, you don't want to put like a whole bunch in one area, but you don't want to put just one or two. So you put like 3 or 4 seeds down in each little pod. And you're going to put a few seeds down in there, put a few more down in there, and then you're going to cover it up with more dirt. Just a little bit. You don't need it like way down in the bottom because you want to have it so it has room to grow and your roots to grow around. And then you're going to take some water, and you want to water it pretty good because what you want it to germinate, you want to have moisture in there, and you want to have humidity in there for the seeds to germinate. So you're going to add your water, but you want to do it a little slowly at each time because it's got to fill. What it's going to do is when it reaches the peat moss and the soil, it's going to start to come up. So you do a little bit at a time. Make sure you get it nice and wet, moist, and it'll take a while for the water to seep down in there. So that's probably good for now. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your cover. It's got some little holes in here, and it also has a little thing that you can turn to close it. You're going to start it with, you want it closed. You don't want it
clever.
You don't want it open. You want it have it closed because you want it to be covered. You're going to want it to be moist in there, so the seeds will be moist to germinate. And then once you start seeing sprouts coming up, that's when you're going to open up so you can have some more air in it. And then when you start seeing the sprouts come up, then you can take them and put them in the sun. Right now, what I'll do is I will take these home. I will put them in a dark place where it's nice and dark. Make sure the soil stays nice and moist. And I would say between 3 to 4 days, you're going to start seeing little sprouts coming up. And you're going to leave them in the dark until you start seeing little tiny leaves start to come out. And that's when you're going to take them out and put them in a nice sunny spot inside. And then as they start to grow, you're going to start seeing them sprout up. You're going to want to wait, I would say, depending on what you're growing, like the rosemary, you're going to want to probably wait about 8 weeks, and then you can transplant them into a bigger pot. But you're still going to keep them inside because you don't want to plant them outside. Usually in Connecticut, May 15th, after Mother's Day, is usually when you want to actually plant them outside.
That's our rule.
Yeah, so you're going to, transplant them into a bigger pot. Let them grow inside in some sun. If you notice the days are a nice warm day, you can put that pot outside, let it get some fresh air. But you're not going to transplant them outside until after May 15th is usually the rule. I like to do this with a few different plants. At spring, I like to do chamomile. and I put them in pots, and I put them on my deck because I like to harvest them. I like the chamomile for tea. The rosemary I use for cooking.
Yeah.
And there's all different basil. You can make grow some basil. You can have a nice little herb garden on your deck, especially if you live in an apartment or something.
Oh, yes.
It's really nice. You can get for your decks, you can get the posts, the pots that you put on the railings.
Or right on your kitchen windowsill.
Or even right on your kitchen windowsill, that would work too. But if you have and then you can, if you have a garden, then you can plant them right into your garden. But these are going to go into pots, and I'm going to have them on my deck and have rosemary growing here and there. And I've got do some other herbs that I do. I do mint to keep away the bugs.
Oh, nice.
Mint you don't want to grow in your yard because you'll have a yard full of mint.
Yes.
But it's really nice in containers. If you do it in containers, but then at the end of the season, you can harvest it and you can use it for food or put in your food or magical.
And if I could say, one of the most important things is to read the back of your seed. If you're going to do seeds, I like to just buy the little plants,
right?
Because I'm lazy.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do seeds, which is a real great, money saver, read the back. Some people are surprised when they plant their seeds and they cover it over and they don't grow.
Right.
And then they find out afterwards they're photosensitive, which means they need to actually be sowed on top of the soil and the sun needs to actually hit them for them to germinate.
Right.
And other ones need to be in the dark. Other ones need to be in the warmth. So they have really specific information on the back that you need to pay attention to. And please pay attention if you're in Zone 6, where we are in southern New England. That May 15th date is not a joke.
No, it's not.
Because people will be like, oh, it's super warm at the end of April. And then we get a frost and you lose all your hard work and all those cute little plants die, and that's never fun.
No.
So May 15th is hard and fast for a reason. The old farmers knew.
Yep.
So
Yeah. So
this is great.
Yeah. So happy planting, people. I hope
all the
you get out
seeds
there.
are out there in the stores now.
Yeah. Get out there. Get your hands dirty.
Oh, and one thing I like to do with these, and I have used these before, or the little tickets that you get with your plants, is I'll get a scrapbook. They're very inexpensive, just a big blank page scrapbook, not a scrapbook, a sketchbook.
Sketchbook, yeah.
Sketchbook, and then I will tape these in there, put a date when I planted them, if I put them in a certain garden, and you can actually have all of your little tickets. If you're planting 30 impatiens, you just need one little ticket.
But if you're doing from seeds, it's good to have a calendar as to when you first plant them, when they sprout.
Great idea.
Because that way you can know that, like, in 8 weeks, okay, it's been 8 weeks since I saw my first sprout. I can transplant it now.
Yes.
You're not going to be like, oh, I wonder how long it's been going. And so you definitely want to have a calendar and write down when they were planted, when they popped, when you transplant them, and when you put them outside. Just because they have harvest dates that at this certain time is a good time to harvest this, or a good time to cut these, or so.
And think of ideas as far as what type of little garden you want to grow. I mean, you probably grow a lot of things for tea because you love teas.
Right, yeah.
Or if you like vegetables. Or if you like flowers.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah, now is the time to start thinking about pollinating gardens and,
to bring the bees in.
To bring the bees in. And
the butterflies.
So, absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. Excellent.
And also there's the thing that goes around, it's no mow May.
What?
Don't mow your lawn in May.
What?
No
mow May?
No mow May. In May, I guess it's this thing. I've seen it. A lot of people. There's a little.
Edie's told me about Naked Gardening Day. She always tells me about that.
Oh, I don't know that. No mow May is you don't mow your lawn in May, so the dandelions and all the early blooming
Oh, I love it.
flowers
So
for
the-
the bees or those
butterflies.
butterflies or whatever.
I
you
love
know.
it.
Yeah. So
I'm not mowing my lawn in May.
No
I have
mow
an
May.
excuse now.
yeah.
Yay.
So
Oh, that's wonderful.
everybody, happy planting.
Happy planting. That's awesome. Well, thank you so
You're
much, Miss
welcome.
Laurel. That was wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you. And that was our welcome to spring. All right. And we're back. This month, sadly, we don't have November Sound with us. They're busy doing all sorts of stuff, and we miss you, Bill and Melissa. We're looking forward to having you back in May. For Easter, we want to wish everyone that celebrates a blessed and happy Easter. And for our Jewish family and friends in our community, we want to wish you a Hag Sameach Pesach, which is Happy Passover. And as a special musical guest, all the way from Brooklyn, New York, I'd like to introduce you to 613.
Hey, 613, can we get ready for Passover?
What?
Changing my pots and pans, gotta have Manischewitz for my prophet. I got hookutters looking for the hummus, we'll be munching matzah. Changing my pots and pans, gotta have Manischewitz for my prophet. I got hookutters looking for the hummus, we'll be munching matzah.
Now, walk into the house, I'm feeling like a big shot. I'm so pumped up, getting ready for the pizza. Unpacking the dishes just as soon as we did lemonade. People like,
Man, that's a real nice Seder plate.
cleaning up, sweeping up, chumetz out, matzah in, checking with a feather and a candle for the leavening. In just a couple days, gonna have a big feast. Brisket, liver, lamb, chicken, wine, and the bread of our affliction. But this matzah's 99 cents.
Frogs and pestilence, but locusts, lights on gnats, and none of that. Dripping some wine out for the pharaoh, cause his junior had to perish. Crossing seas, splitting rocks, no trees. In the desert, 40 years, we're cleaning, leaning, ready, set, mealing.
Next year in Jerusalem, Nah, for real, ask El Al, can you fly me to Israel?
Shalom, shalom, I say the loving fellows.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Said Moses to Pharaoh, oh, let my people go, so we can sing this song and eat matzah 8 days long. Said Moses to Pharaoh, oh, let my people go, so we can sing this song and eat matzah 8 days long. Changing my pots and pans, gotta have Manischewitz for my prophet. I got hookutters looking for the hummus, we'll be munching matzah. Changing my pots and pans, gotta have Manischewitz for my prophet. I got hookutters looking for the hummus, we'll be munching matzah.
Guys, wait a second. First of all, you all look ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. But second of all, why are we doing this song? There's so many better songs to do. Do you remember when music used to mean something? Used to stand for something? Like back in the good old days.
Matzah, bright, bright, bright. Need a kosher bite. The Seder was on Monday night, and these leftovers don't smell right. It's Pesach, come on. I'd love something to eat made from unleavened wheat. So let's turn on that heat. I'm ready for s'more. I know that I can take no more unleavened dry. I wanna see what eggs are for. Matzah bright, bright, bright. It's the yummy part of being a Jew. Bubby used to make it and I'll make it too. Don't be lazy, get some oil and fry. Matzah bright, bright, bright. I really wanna make it bright. I just want a little of the soggy stuff. It ain't no pastry, but it makes me fly. Matzah bright, bright, bright.
Morty, when you said the good old days, I thought you meant the real classics. Here's what I'm talking about.
Just my son. Well, our ancestors had no time to let their dough rise. 'Cause God took us out of Egypt to Israel too. And on top of that, He also gave us Torah. And that's why we sing dying, dying. Yeah, yeah. All over. It tastes like sand. All over. 18 minutes. Don't let it rise. Don't let it rise. Don't let it
All right, I feel better.
That was last chord, guys. That's it.
Yeah.
And that's a wrap.
Do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
This is that age-old Passover tale that's retold. This is what we listen to while eating through those matzah pieces. Climbing, tiling, building Egyptian cities. We worked hard but prayed to God and He freed us all, so get ready. It's Pesach. Oh man, there was a burning bush on fire, man. Pesach. Big fan. There's a Pharaoh Jew, God's Iron Man. Pesach. Change fans. So He took us out of Mitzrayim. Pesach. Let's scram. So it's bad if you have chametz. Clean it up. Kids singing Manishtana. Kids singing Manishtana. Kids singing Manishtana. 'Cause Uptown Passover's coming to you. 'Cause Uptown Passover's coming to you. 'Cause Uptown Passover's coming to you. Say to the night and we save you a spot. Don't be slaving, just nosh. Hit it. Don't be slaving, just nosh. 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 Hey, hey, oh! Stop. Say the Kiddush. Fill 4 cups, manage if in them. Lots of food, no chametz. Shmulio, start the bench. Went from Egypt, Sinai, all the way to Judea. We showed up and settled down in the land that we now call Izzy. Kadesh, or Chaz. Gonna bless the wine, then wash your hands. Karpas, yeah, Chaz. Dip the parsley and break the matzah, man. Magid, Rachza. Tell the story, then wash again. Motzi, matzah. Eat the matzah, it's so crunchy. Break it up. Kids singing Manishtana. Kids singing Manishtana. Kids singing Manishtana. 'Cause Uptown Passover's coming to you. 'Cause Uptown Passover's coming to you. 'Cause Uptown Passover's coming to you. Say to the night and we save you a spot. Don't be slaving, just nosh. Get it out. Don't be slaving, just nosh. 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 Hey, hey, oh!
Do 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 do.
Before we eat, let me tell you a little story. He said, let my
people go. Let my people go. He said, let my people go. Let my people go. Moses said, let my people go. Let my people go. He said, let my people go. Let my people go. He sent blood and frogs and lice all over their bodies. Wild animals all angry. Livestock disease, now that's nasty. Boils, hellfire, and locusts. Plague of the firstborn and darkness. Say to the night and we say new spot. Don't be slave, it's just Nosh. Come on. Don't be slave, it's just Nosh. 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 Don't be slave, it's just Nosh.
And that was 613, an a cappella group from New York City. And that was absolutely amazing. You can find more of their amazing music right here online. That was awesome. 613. And is it your dream to be on television? To have your own TV show? How do you do it? Consult your local public access television station in your town and have a concept. Get some friends together and they will help you make your dream a reality. So we want to thank everyone at the crew and at CVC and keep focusing on peace in the Middle East until all the hostages are home. And for me personally and for my family, Slava Ukraini.